Hello bakers! Today I thought I would make a honey wholemeal cake. This is from the River Cottage Everyday cookbook. It's also been published online, so I'll link that down below. But I kind of fancied that kind of nutty, hearty, stodgy feeling cake. So this is kind of dense, it's got almonds in it. It's made with wholemeal self-raising flour, which I don't have. I thought I could probably use wholemeal bread flour, but then I saw I had some wholemeal spelt flour in the cupboard, so I thought I would give that a go. As it's not self-raising, I will increase the baking powder. It says up here that you can increase it to 2 teaspoons. I'm going to be making a smaller cake than what they say, again just because it's just for me and my partner, and we could eat an entire cake to ourselves and have done, but we thought we would eat a little bit less. If you want to bake along, I will put the recipe link in the description box down below, and you'll need unsalted butter, caster sugar, eggs, self-raising flour, ground almonds, baking powder, flaked almonds, and some runny honey. I haven't actually got runny honey, so I'm just gonna warm up some set honey, which will, I'm sure, do the job. Let's get baking. By the way, that was baking, not bacon. Just to clarify, nothing wrong with a bit of bacon. So first up, we add the unsalted butter, which is been a bit softened. So for me, I gave it a tiny warm through in the microwave. And then we beat that in the mixer. In the actual recipe book, he does the butter and sugar together, but in the online link, he just whips up the butter first, so it's nice and pale and creamy and fluffy, and then adds the sugar and mixes that together again until it's looking it's increased in volume and it's pale and it's fluffy. And next up we add the eggs, which I've kept in a cup of warm water because mine were in the fridge, so it helps bring them up to room temperature a bit, which will help any curdling issues. So I'm adding that, and also adding a spoon of flour, which will also help with curdling. The thing to remember here though is to make sure you deduct whatever flour you add from the total amount in the recipe. So if you're adding 10 grams here, the recipe asks for 100, then you'll do 90 grams later, if that makes sense. Again, that's going to be beaten in the mixer, and we repeat the process. We add more eggs and another spoon of flour, and keep going. And then when they're fully mixed, we will be sifting in the flour, which is never fun, is it? Let's be honest. Again, this differs slightly from the book. The book, they fold in the ground almonds first, but I followed the online link, which is below. So we add the flour and the baking powder, and then we sift that together into the mixture. Look at that frantic sieve work there. And then we fold that in with a metal spoon. Usually I'd use a mixer, but when it says fold, I always try and do that. I presume it's to keep it a bit lighter and not overwork it too much. But let's be honest, that's some vigorous folding going on there. And then after that, we add the ground almonds. And again, we'll fold them in. And then when that's done, it'll be time to get it into the tin. So I've got a smaller tin here, which is lined, and I'm just going to dollop in the batter. It's quite a thick one. but it's not too bad. A good few dollops. Why do I keep saying dollop? I really don't know. And then give it a smooth out. The only problem with these small tins is that when you try and smooth it out, yeah, it takes a bit of while because the tip of the spatula is just creating grooves, but still I enjoy it and I find it very soothing. Smoothing out cake batter. It's very calming. And then once you've done that, it will be time to add flaked almonds to the top. So I've just got my weighing scales there to make sure I do it accurately. And sprinkling on some flaked almonds. And once that's done, it'll go into the oven. In the recipe I was following, he asks us to put it onto a baking sheet just in case any batter leaks out. It didn't. It took about 45 minutes at a 170 oven until the skewer came out clean, as you can see with those nice holes in the middle of my cake there. And then I warmed through some set honey, and that gets poured over the top. Obviously if you have runny honey, you're not going to need to warm it through. It's just so it was a bit more liquid and pourable. So that gets added to the top. It is a cake that can be eaten warm, but I let it sit in the tin for a little bit, and then I unmolded it, and I'm not going to lie, I ate it pretty quickly. It does recommend to possibly leave it to the next day. It can be either eaten as a pudding, or it says it tastes even better the next day, and it did taste good the next day, but I ate most of it on the day I baked it. That's some careful unmolding. So as you can see, lovely and golden. It was really beautiful. Some nice poke holes there from the skewer. I do wish they weren't as obvious. But it got demolished pretty quickly, as you're going to see. So I was cutting this while it's still quite warm, so it's still quite crumbly and moist, everyone's favourite word. But when I cut it later, it did cut a lot more cleanly. But I wanted to have a sneaky taste, and as you can see, it's kind of buttery and golden and fluffy. It was delicious. Highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this week's bake, and let me know if you tried it, and hopefully see you next week. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.